Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams knitting podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. And I come here to talk all about my knitting and my making journey with all of you. So if you're new or if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for checking out this video. I feel like I've been doing these videos once a month now, and I feel kind of out of practice. It becomes like a huge thing in my head that I have to record, I have to get everything together, I have to I shouldn't forget anything, and I end up forgetting stuff obviously because I can never remember to make notes actually. But I'm here again to catch you up on everything that I have been making and doing since I last saw you. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you have your knitting or your crochet or any sort of craft you're indulging in, and maybe a beverage of choice. Today is a Friday. I'm gonna butcher the date. I think it's the 8th of December. And I finished work and it's actually a sunny day today, so I thought I might take the opportunity and record a video today, and I have quite a bit of stuff to share with all of you as it usually goes. It's actually like 60 degrees out here, and I was wearing a sweater at home, but just bringing all the podcast things together, I started feeling quite warm, so I took my sweater off. But yeah, I have finished objects, I have plans, I have works in progress, so let's get right into it. I think my first finished object is actually something that I have been, I think I started this in July of 2022. I have quite a few unfinished whips, and I'm at a stage where I either want to, obviously, I want to do something about them. I just don't want to leave them hanging in my closet in there, and I just kind of want to either knit and finish them, or at least frog them or something like that. But that means all that yarn is gonna go back into my stash. So it's becoming like I think it's the state of existence in my house or in my craft room. It's like a yarn explosion all the time, and now since I've been spinning as well, it has been a fiber explosion as well, and fiber takes up so much space before it gets converted to yarn. So anyway, that being said, I had a shawl project that I had started in July 2022. I checked it because I couldn't remember when I had started this, and I actually finished it. And here is my shawl. This is extremely crumpled and wrinkled because I've been using it a lot. This is the Garter Goodness Shawl by our very own Stephen West. I am so pleased. This is massive. There's no way I can show you the whole shawl in one frame. I am so pleased with how this has turned out. It's a massive shawl. I knit this in the Wandering Flock singles. I had purchased Geraldine's yarn, I think, exclusively for the shawl. Around the time that I had purchased this yarn was when she had come out with a few sets which were similar in these colors, but I made a few changes. I may remember some colors. So this is a touch of mauve. This is the icy lavender. Here you have mauve itself, and then close next to it is celosia with the green with the pink speckles, and then the final color is I think it's just called neon pink. Is it? I don't know, but yeah, it's like an electric a neon pink color. I was around here in July, so there was not as much left like, you know, depth wise, but because this is so massive, it took me, but it didn't take me long. It took me 4 days of exclusively knitting on this incessantly. Like, I was knitting on it with my morning coffee, I was knitting on it at night, like I was not working on anything else. I think I went through another bout of I need only garter or stockinette or whatever, so I was able to finish this, and it is so soft, so pretty. The Wandering Flock singles are like this buttery soft base. I used it before. I'm trying to see if I have some of it. Okay, so this is the neon pink, and I didn't try and like use up all of it. I used up the rest of the colors. So the Garter Goodness shawl is only supposed to be 4 colors. I used 5. I kind of just wanted this hint of neon in it, so I used this color. So it is bigger than what Steven like suggests in his pattern, and I didn't use up all of this yarn. I just used up enough to get me a few rows and then do the I-cord bind off. I kind of tried to do, it's not so much of a fade, but like whenever like 20 grams of the one color was left, I started striping in the second color, and I kind of did that, so the fading or the stripe section also decreases in width because I was doing it by weight. I don't know, it's amazing. It's almost a blanket. I have been using it quite a lot. I get quite chilly at work, you know, so I carry it with me in my work bag, and it just sits on my shoulders usually as I'm working. So that's what this shawl has been used for so far, and I'm super pleased with it. I think it was I was inspired to cast this shawl on when Amy made, I think, her second version, I think. And Amy, I just say Amy like, you know, everybody does know Amy, but I'm talking about Amy Palco of the Meaningful Stitch podcast. And of course Amy makes amazing shawls, and she's always my inspiration because I love and relate more to her color choices, and it just shows me the different possibilities one can do with the shawl. So I decided to cast it on, but true to character, I don't finish shawls when I start them. They just linger. But I really love massive shawls, so that I can do exactly this, is just like wrap myself in them. My neck area is actually not too cold, so I don't like them. So I don't like the tiny shawls that are only around your neck, but I prefer the ones that can go over my shoulders, and that is exactly what this is, and I am so pleased with it. It's fun, and it's warm, and it's very soft. So that is my first finished object, and I feel like I'm super excited about it because it's an old whip that I have finished. And I think it was Leanne of the Nitty Stew who mentioned on her video a few times is thinking about what is that one knit you want to finish before the year ends. And when Leanne had given that prompt on one of her videos, and she was thinking about that, I was trying hard to figure out what was the one thing that I really want to get done this year. And I don't think I've knit any shawls this year, so I get sweaters done no problem. So my one thing that I wanted to finish this year was a shawl, and I finished it. And I specifically this one because I knew I was quite a ways through with it. So yeah, that is my Garter Goodness shawl, and I feel like I just like dove right into the knitting and didn't do any chatter. But I'm sure I'm gonna intersperse the knitting with chatter as I always do, so it should be fine. So yeah, that is my first finished object, and maybe I'll continue to wear it for the rest of this video, just because now that it's on my shoulders, I don't feel like taking it off. So my next finished object is also from 6 months ago. I mean, it's not a very big finished object, but like, I don't know why this took me 6 months, but I finished a pair of socks. These are my self-striping socks that I was knitting. This is Painted Sock by Lane Du Nord. It's a commercial sock yarn. It's self-striping, and it does this really cool color gradient. Like, it goes through all these yellows and greens and reds, and then and then in between you get the beige or the tan color. I actually knit heel flap and gusset, so it did mess up the striping at the, when I did the heel, it messed up the striping a little, but honestly, I don't care. I didn't want to be bothered, and I don't always like the fish lips kiss heel, which works better for self-striping yarn, but I don't always like the fit. I really wanted a traditional heel flap and gusset, so that's what I ended up doing, and I was okay with the stripes getting messed up. It wasn't a big deal. This is my vanilla sock recipe. I cast on 60 stitches. I do a I do like 20 rows of ribbing, and then I start a 3x1 rib. So 3 knit 3 purl 1, and I continue to do that through the leg. I do a traditional heel flap and gusset, and then I do the foot. The foot does not have the rib on the underside of the foot, so I just do the ribbing at the top of the foot. I just finished this like 2 days ago. I've woven the ends, but I have not washed it, so you can see all my stitches, all my wonky uneven stitches. I also messed up my second sock. So usually commercial sock yarns that have any sort of patterning or self-striping have like different, so what they do is, it's 50 grams in that pattern, then there is like a length of waste yarn in a different color altogether, and then 50 grams, and it's all in one skein, and I completely forgot about that. So I started my second sock right after I finished my first one, and then I hit the place where they had that bright white color scrap yarn to differentiate, where technically you should maybe wind off until you see that scrap yarn, and then have 2 50-gram balls so you can get similar looking socks. I don't really care about the matching part, but I didn't want that one stripe of white in the middle, so what I ended up doing was cutting that off and restarting the second part. But what that did was give me this massive amount of beige, because I think it starts with beige and ends with beige, but I'm calling this beige. It's more like whatever it is, what camel, I don't know. Okay, I need to calm down and just like focus right now. I feel like my brain is buzzing. So yeah, so I messed it up, and there was like a huge chunk of this neutral color in the middle of the sock, but honestly, I don't care. I was kind of done with it. I started this in July. In the meantime, I actually cast on a different pair of sock. I finished that, I gifted that, and then I was like, you know what, before I start another pair, I should really finish this, because I would like to have them. I've been wearing my hand knit socks quite a bit, and I just wanted to finish this pair, so that's what I did. I feel like I have talked way too much about a pair of vanilla socks. Another finished object. What is next? I feel like I had more stuff. Oh, so I also finished my granny square massive crochet blanket that my mom had started when she came here. I think I showed it to you last time, and it was like literally last legs of finishing. Like I hadn't woven in the ends. I didn't do a border on it. I ended up doing just a plain single crochet border. I'll put the image of that blanket here, because I did not bring it upstairs. It's massive. It's sitting by the couch. I am so pleased with how that turned out. I had used Aran weight rustic wool for the blanket because I knew I would not appreciate a garment in that wool, and honestly making a blanket out of it was the best decision ever because the blanket is so warm and it's massive and it's the right weight. Like, Baljit has been using that blanket a lot. He used to use my half and half wrap before he started using that blanket, and once I finished that one, he said, oh my god, this is so much better because it's heavier and it's warmer and it's bigger. So he now has taken over the crochet blanket and I get the half and half wrap, so everyone's happy. But that blanket turned out really well, and I'm so happy that we stash busted like we did, and it doesn't look as pretty as it can. Whatever, I had some stash yarn and I used it up. So I'm super pleased with the blanket. We've been using it quite a bit. I'll try and put some footage of us using it if I can find something, but it's all done and I'm very happy. And I mean, my mom and I both worked on it, so that is bonus because it serves as a memory blanket from her trip. So yeah, so that was my third finished object, and I just realized that I did not bring my other finished object, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So my final finished object, which I finished but I've clearly not woven in ends, and give me 1 second, is a gift hat. So this is a kid's hat that I finished. This is the Purl Soho classic ribbed hat. It's just a 1x1 rib hat in this gorgeous hunter green color. I'm so pleased with this. This is going to be a gift for my neighbor's son. They have 2 sons. I have started the hat for the second son as well. We are going over to their house for Christmas dinner, and I obviously can't go to a Christmas dinner and not knit something for the kids. So I knit the first hat, and I'm in the process of knitting the second hat, and the boys are like 6 and 8, I think, so I'm gonna make the same size of hat. They can exchange them if they want to. I just assume one will get one color, the other they can swap it if they want to. But yeah, I am knitting the second one. It's a simple free pattern by Purl Soho. I've made like 3 of these hats for Baljit. He really enjoys them because they're like very snug beanies. So I decided it was a simple enough pattern and classic looking that everybody will like them. So that's why I chose to go with that pattern. This is Cascade 220 Superwash yarn. This color is Hunter Green, and this one is Ruby Red. I had shown this yarn that I'd purchased from purchased for making these gifts. So yeah, so that is my finished object, and in progress, classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho. I actually will make a third hat for these kids' father, and I decided to get gray yarn for the dad for our friend, because he does not, I don't think he wears colors, so I think he will appreciate a neutral colored hat much more than like a bold color. So I just got like this basic gray. This is color 900 in Cascade 220 Superwash. I'm using Superwash because I don't want them to have to think about washing or not washing these hats. So these are all going to be the beanies. And for my friend who's the mom, I'm gonna make something with this winter white color. I love this color, and I think she wears a lot of white, so I think she'll like it. Last time I said I might make fingerless mitts or I might make a hat. I have not decided. I feel like fingerless mitts will be easier for me after 3 hats, because the rib on a small needle while it looks amazing, is kind of hard on my hands. And by the time I make the adult hat, I will be done with it. So I might just make the fingerless mitts in these, but the mitts will get... I always worry about white because, you know, you can get it dirty so easily, but we'll see. I'll figure something out. I could make a Sophie scarf or something for her because I have a lot of this white. That is a good point. I will think about it. So we have very smoothly drifted into works in progress because I showed you the hat. Let's talk about more works in progress. Okay, so since I finished a pair of socks on my needles, I obviously have to cast on another pair of socks almost immediately. Like, I always need a pair of socks on my needles. And these are my travel projects usually, and I started another self-striping vanilla sock. Surprise, surprise. My sock knitting is the most boring thing ever because I only end up making vanilla socks. I have so many plans to make so many beautiful designs, and a lot of my friends who are designers have gifted me sock patterns, but I don't know, I can't get myself to knit anything other than rib or stockinette socks. This is the beautiful self-striping colorway called Happy Camper by Woolens and Nosh. Michelle's yarn is amazing. I love her sock bases. I love her colors. And I was planning to buy from her shop at Wool and Folk, but I could not really think by the time I got to the booth. So I didn't end up buying anything while I was at Wool and Folk. But then once we came back and they had the post-festival sales, not sale as in discounts, but like post-festival updates, that's when I ended up purchasing this Happy Camper colorway. It is so fun to knit with. This is the Targhee sock base, so it is 90% Targhee and 10% nylon, and I love it. So I promptly started my next pair of socks. I knit on them even if it's like 10-15 minutes at lunch at work or anytime I'm going somewhere. I have this cute little sock bag that Selma gifted me, Selma from Little Big Knits, and this bag is made by Dolphina. She has like a beautiful store. She uses a lot of fun fabric patterns, and I absolutely love the size of this because this can actually fit like 2 or 3 skeins. So I've sometimes for travel put like 2 sock projects or 1 sock and 1 mitten project or something like that in this bag, and I carry it everywhere with me. I love it so much. So that was another work in progress. I feel like I'm just like narrating. It's like I'm just going through things very quickly. Okay, so my next work in progress is a sweater you saw me work on last time. I was working on my Anker's sweater by Petite Knit in the beautiful yarn gifted to me by Camilla, who is Cami Jo Knit or Cami Jo Yarns. And I must say I have been thoroughly enjoying knitting with the yarn, and also I'm thoroughly enjoying Camilla's Vlogmas episodes. I have been indulging in Vlogmas episodes. I love watching them. I watch Camilla, who's Cami Jo Knit, Sandy by the Lakeside. I'm sure everybody watches Sandy. I watch Kate, who's Hawthorne Cottage Craft, and I also watch Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, and I've been watching Taji, who is she's Stitches and Starlight on YouTube. I think I always get confused because one of her handles is Tangles and Starlights and one is Stitches and Starlights. I think it's Stitches and Starlight. So anyway, so this is my Anker's sweater in Camilla's wonderful organic wool linen yarn. I am so happy with how this is going. I'm quite a ways through with the body. I should at this point just finish the body and then start working on my sleeves, but I kind of got distracted by a lot of other projects, so progress has been slow. But that being said, progress is still being made on this project. The yarn is amazing, the fabric is amazing. This pattern is obviously like a classic pattern. Everybody has knitted at this point. I'm quite a ways through. I feel like another ½ inch and then I'm ready for ribbing. So I need to get this going. I kind of want to wear this sweater for Christmas when we go for dinner. So that actually does not give me a lot of time. I need to get going on this project. But yeah, so that is another work in progress. This, like I said, is Camilla's organic wool linen blend. So I think it's like 70% organic wool and 30% linen or something like that. This is the aubergine colorway. It is a moody purple and I'm so in love with it. I've been imagining this with a red skirt for Christmas, and I actually ended up purchasing myself a red skirt to pair with this. So I have my outfit planned, but I just don't have the sweater done. Need to get going on that. Alright, my next work in progress, actually maybe I'll switch from sweater back to like a shawl blanket situation, and I'm in the middle of a row as I always am. I resumed working on my ½ wrap. So this is the world famous ½ triangles wrap by Purl Soho. I am knitting on it after a while. Like I had started this, I don't know, maybe last year, I don't even remember, and I had maybe done this much and I kind of picked it up again and I've knit about that much. I should really use progress keepers. I don't have progress keepers. I don't end up using them as well, but this is what I'm doing. Actually, on that side you can't really see the striping. On this side, well, it's not too much of a contrast, so it kind of blends in. But these are the two colors I'm using. Actually, this yarn was gifted to me by Purl Soho to do last year's mystery knit along with Stephen West. And honestly, it was that funky one with the braided, which looks very nice, but I lost steam on it almost instantly because that was just not a shawl for me. So I repurposed the yarn for the ½ wrap. These were my colors, and I have like 5 skeins, like 2 of the pink, 2 of the gray, and 1 of this chartreuse, or I think the colorway is golden green. This is, by the way, Purl Soho Quads yarn. This is a wool alpaca blend, very soft, very beautiful. So this was gifted to me by Purl Soho. I actually never ended up finishing it last year. I didn't finish the MCAL. Like, I have become the worst collaborator ever. Like, I have just lost track of the whole, all the deadlines, all the collaborations. That's why I've pretty much stopped doing them, because I'm unable to keep up with all of that. Like, it's just become too much and I feel so terrible. I beat myself up about it, and then I'm like, why do I even accept these? Like, I should just stop accepting. And that's why, like, all of my collabs have been from a while ago. And actually, I say that it's right after showing you the yarn Camilla gifted me, but Camilla is a friend and she surprised me with the yarn, so I didn't really plan on this collaboration, but I'm so thankful for the yarn, of course. But anyway, so these were my colors supposed to be for the mystery knit along, and I have 2 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of this. So I kind of decided I'm gonna do a Purl Soho ½ and I'm gonna stripe it however I feel like, but the shawl needs a 6th skein. So I decided to go with this linen quill that I have in stash. So finally my wrap will have these colors in it, and this will form one triangle, half of the shawl, and these two will form half of the shawl. And I'm just gonna stripe these two now, and I'll see how I will figure out that, because I have like, where is it? So yeah, so I'll figure out how to stripe and make half of the shawl with these 3 skeins. But yeah, that's what the shawl is gonna look like. And mostly the Purl Soho shawl, like this half and half triangles wrap, I only use it as a blanket or a lap blanket. It's massive and it's square. I don't really know how to wear a square usually. I know you can fold it in a triangle and still put it around your shoulders, which I end up doing, but I prefer it on my couch so that I can wear it as a shawl around the house or throw it on as a lap blanket. So that is another work in progress. I have been enjoying knitting on this. I've been picking it up whenever I'm watching TV where I need to pay attention, read subtitles or something. So it's been a good brainless project. And while I was knitting on this all of last week, I suddenly decided Baljeet needed a new sweater immediately. I was talking about it in my last episode, so you know I was thinking about it, but then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna cast on because maybe I can finish this for Christmas for him. I don't know why I self-impose deadlines. If I don't have test knit deadlines, I have self-imposed deadlines. So I basically started a Dornie sweater for Baljeet, and that's how much I've gotten done on it. I'm quite pleased. This is like a lot of progress. It does look small, but honestly this is like in rib and I have obsessed over it for a long time, but I'm gonna block it out. It's gonna be fine. He's gonna fit in it. I think the Dornie had a 42-inch size and a 46-inch size, and I kind of needed an in-between size. So I cast on the 42 size, but then I did more increases for the raglan. So I have kind of deviated from the pattern a little bit. And by the way, I'm just like, I've forgotten how I do these videos. So the Dornie is a pattern by Rebecca Clow, who's the Crea Bea. It's a wonderful pattern. I've deviated slightly just to get the in-between size, so I've increased more before splitting for sleeves, and then I did the side panel accordingly because I increased the number of stitches I needed to cast on for the underarm as well. So and then I ended up, I actually don't even know what Rebecca has you do for these stitches under the arm and the side of the sweater, but that's what I'm doing. I just decided what sequence I would like to do them in, because the rest, and it kind of goes with the rest of the sweater because there is the rib detail between the cables, so I kind of mimic that on the side as well. So this is being knit out of Dererum Natura Gilead in the citrus color. I am I'm a big fan of this yarn. I have a lovely sweater in this yarn that I wear all the time, every single day. It's my sweatshirt and it has not pilled even the slightest. It is beautiful. So I decided that it's time to try this yarn for Baljeet, and that's what I'm doing. I am very happy with this project. This is the one that has currently occupied my attention. This is what I'm knitting on most of the time because I kind of want to get it done, and if it's done I can do because my Anker sweater only has stockinette, so I can like get that done. It's a bit more predictable time wise how much time I can spend on it and finish it. But for his sweater I would like to just actually finish it sooner because it's cables. Also I have a lot of sweaters, so if I don't finish mine by Christmas I can always wear something else that I have. I have a lot of sweaters. Baljeet currently has been wearing his lapidarium and his Ker sweater incessantly. Like he's wearing one of them 3 days a week, the other one 3 days a week, and I'm very worried that something will happen to either one of those sweaters. Which is why I'm like in a rush to make him another option. And I might cast on a lot more sweaters for him next year, because I think after my closet organization last time that I showed you, I feel like I have a lot of sweaters. I need to like slow down the rate at which I am basically producing sweaters for myself and maybe increase the rate of Baljeet's sweater production, so that I can keep my rate of sweater production constant anyways. Not that anyone's keeping track of it, but keeps me happy. Okay, I feel like I have rambled quite a bit already, but those were all my works in progress, and I have a lot of plans. The plans are endless. I've actually made a list of ideas that I have. I have suddenly gotten into making a lot of lists. So anything that comes into my head, I am putting it down as a list. So one of the lists I made is literally all my blanket ideas. After I finished that granny square crochet blanket, I have really been itching to cast on another blanket, and I am unable to decide what I should work on. Like, it's like decision paralysis is happening, and I have not done anything. I have not cast on anything. That's why I started kind of working on my Purl Soho wrap, which is a good thing that I picked up an old whip. But I still want a nice blanket. Now I can't even decide if I want to make a crochet blanket or a knitted blanket. So I decided that I'm going to list all my ideas, and hopefully talking through these with you is going to help me make a decision, or at least it'll be here as like a journal, and I can come back to it and think about all the blankets that I had planned. So the first thing I did was look through Purl Soho's website, because they have such beautiful patterns available and free. So one of the blankets I really liked was the Daybreak Blanket, and I'll put a picture of it on the screen here. And this uses a whopping 16 skeins of yarn. Now, obviously I'm not gonna buy yarn. I am kind of in a unofficial yarn ban since Rhinebeck. I'm really trying to use my stash, and I'm kind of overwhelmed by the yarn I have, so I'm not feeling bad about it. I purchase like skeins for gifting, because if I don't have the color or the superwash or the quantity I need, I'm buying yarn to gift to people, but for myself, absolutely not. So anyway, so the Daybreak Blanket requires 16 skeins of yarn, and I went through my I have a bin of single skeins or sock yarn basically, and it had become quite full, like it was bulging. So I decided to pull out 16 skeins of yarn that I could use for a blanket. And I laid it out on the floor in my craft room, and I have been staring at it. It is right here, by the way. I have been staring at it for over a week now. I'm trying to arrange it into a fade. I'm trying to see what I can do with it, but I'm quite undecided, because I'm like, if I cast on a Daybreak blanket, it's going to be like those rows are going to be so long, and it's going to take me a very long time to get through it. The other option I could do with these 16 skeins is actually make the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose, because it's like the half and half triangle kind of a thing, and it's like contiguous. I don't have to seam the squares. And I was thinking I could segregate these 16 skeins into darks and lights, and always do half a square light color, half a square as dark color, and then arrange them kind of strategically so that the lights and the dark, like, it always lines up. So it kind of, I don't have to buy any more yarn for it, and I kind of, instead of using a neutral like Laura has used, I can use like the lighter shades of my stash yarn. So that is one idea. So either the Daybreak or the Sweet Shop blanket. The next one is, and I apologize for the crinkling that's gonna happen, but Webs, that is a yarn store in the US here, had 3 years ago put this massive fade on sale. It is a rainbow fade. And you can tell why I have not taken it out of its wrapping, because if I do, I'm gonna mess up the fade. So This is fingering 100% superwash yarn and beautiful, stunning colors. And I bought, sorry, I'm gonna put that away now. So I bought undyed yarn from Knit Picks, which is 80% superwash, 20% nylon, like fingering weight, their sock base, undyed, so that I could hold it with this and make a rainbow blanket, because I just didn't want a fingering weight blanket, and I feel like it would be too delicate because it's only superwash, it doesn't have any nylon, this fade. So I got like the sock yarn from Knit Picks, and I want to hold it together and make a blanket. And this I've done like 3 years ago and I've never actually started it. So I feel like as part of the use your stash and knit from stash, I need to just like stop obsessing over how pretty the fade is and start actually knitting with it. So this, I don't know if I mentioned, this is a company called Cheshire Cat. I'll put the name on the screen here, and it was a rainbow fade, and it was on sale on Webs when I purchased it. So that's that. Then, sorry about that, I had also purchased this Drops Alaska in these two colors in a massive quantity. My original plan with this was to make the pressed flowers shawl, make 2 pressed flower shawls and kind of seam them in the middle so that it becomes a huge massive blanket. And I had actually also started the project, but this being an Aran bulky weight yarn and the pressed flowers being a mosaic knitting pattern was the worst thing for my hands ever. Like, I would knit one row and my hands would start cramping up and hurting. So it was not going anywhere. I had done like a few inches. I had started a shawl, but it wasn't working out. So I ripped it out, and I still have, I think I have 10 skeins of this and 10 skeins of this. So like I have 20 skeins of Drops Alaska to make a blanket. So I'm trying to decide if I just should like crochet a blanket, or if I should make squares again, like garter squares, like tiny garter squares, and then seam them together. Or I don't know. I'm looking for ideas. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments below. But I have this yarn and I'm looking to do something with it. Most likely blanket, because I will not wear a sweater in this, and I have a lot of it. But yeah, that is another plan. And then I have a few mini skein sets that I have purchased over the last, I don't know how many years, 6 years maybe. And one of those, sorry for the crinkling, is this gorgeous fade by Naughty Pine Fiber. Can you see that? It's got pinks and greens and moody oranges, and it's so beautiful. And again, I have decision paralysis with it, like what should I actually do with this fade. It's not even a fade, it's just mini skein set. Kayla dyes beautiful yarn, and I had purchased this in one of her shop updates, and I actually have a coordinating orange in 3 skeins, and maybe I can find it here. So this is the coordinating like caramel orange brown color, and I have 3 skeins of this. So my original plan was to use that fades or the mini skein set and this main color to make Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. Is that right? Curious Handmade? Yes. So I kind of wanted to make the Habitation Throw. I had not decided how I wanted to arrange the mini skeins versus the main color. I was thinking like half of it could be a fade and the rest of it could be in just this color. And then I'd fallen in love with this color, and then I decided, no, I want this as a garment. So I just let this whole thing go, and so I'm back to wondering whether I should use this yarn in sort of a lap blanket. Should I do the minis by themselves and just use this in a t-shirt for me? So yeah, that is another blanket idea. And then the other thing I want to do is one of the things I want to do is obviously use my hand spun for a blanket. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I have random skeins of hand spun that are being produced as I get more into spinning, and I am going to reach a stage where I won't know what to do with everything, and most likely they will become a blanket or a shawl or something like that. But that's about the idea. Like, I don't have anything else to talk about it. But the one thing I did want to run by all of you, hoping to get some ideas, I have a lot of holst cones. And my holst cones are not really becoming garments like I had planned. The yarn is a little not so fun to work with for me. I have lovely autumn colors. I have this green, I have a yellow, I have an orange, I have a navy, I have a brown, I have too many holst cones to count. I have a red. I can't believe I have so many holst cones, and I've actually gifted a few cones as well. I went through a phase. I don't know what to tell you. So I have all these holst cones, and I want to turn them into something because it's beautiful yarn, but it's just not, a garment worthy yarn for me because I feel like it's a little too scratchy for me. And since I made that Aran crochet blanket, since my mom and I made that blanket, I've been thinking of using the holst cones to actually make a blanket because that'll be perfect. It'll be a warm woolly blanket and it won't be a garment, so I don't have to wear it on my skin. But I have zero ideas on how to get started. Like, I'm thinking I should hold it double and then I can either crochet or knit. I would prefer crochet because it'll get done faster, but I can't seem to decide on what type of crochet with all these colors. Maybe it'll just be like a simple granny stripe or something like that. But yeah, that is another blanket idea. And of course, there's always a scrappy blanket. I have already started a scrappy blanket with superwash yarn, which I'd shown a few episodes, not a few, maybe more than a few episodes ago. But that's already decided for. I was doing a color fade. I had taken all my superwash scraps and put them into bags so they are arranged by colors, and I'm going to fade it. And I already have a blanket ongoing, which I'm not going to show right now, but all my non-superwash leftovers and scrap yarn is still in all these bins around me. So maybe a non-superwash scrappy blanket is in my future. But that makes my list of blankets immense, and this will not happen soon. This is like over 5 years worth of projects that I'm basically sitting and talking to you about. I hope this is not too boring for you, just me talking through all the ideas in my head, but it helps me kind of put my thoughts into action as well. And I love all the ideas you provide when you hear my ramblings. So if you have any blanket ideas, I'm here for it. Please let me know. But yeah, those were all my blanket knitting plans. And then of course I have regular knitting plans. Not too much, I think, since I've already spoken so much about blankets and that's what's on my head right now, so that's what I'm going to focus on. But there are two things I really want to do next. One is the Artus Shawl. The Artus Shawl is a design by Moonstruck Knits, Natasha Hornby. And just this morning I was watching Casey, who is Young Folk Knits, and her podcast, and she was talking about doing a mini cal for the Artus Shawl, and I completely want to crash that party because I really love that shawl, and since it came out, I've been looking at it, and me not being a shawl knitter was the only thing holding me back. But now that I know that my friends are actually knitting it, maybe I can get in on that and maybe I can get it done. I'm always very hopeful, but I will show you my color ideas. I didn't want you to see me unflatteringly pull out skeins from behind me, so I had to pause the video, but I'm thinking that these would be a beautiful Artus shawl. And I know the pattern says 5 colors, but I'm thinking I can do combination of these 4 and make it work. I want this to be the main color that appears on the top right by you, and then all the beautiful diamond stuff could be in this in these beautiful jewel tones, which are totally my jam. And this yarn, and this is again stash yarn, I had purchased from Blackberry Ridge Woolen Mill, which is a mill in Wisconsin, and they have a lot of dead stock that they've been selling. Their colors are amazing. Like on the website, their colors don't look as nice, but when they arrive, you're always pleasantly and extremely happy and surprised at how rich the colors are. So I had bought this fingering weight. I know the pattern asks for sport, but I think this fingering weight is a little on the heavier side, so I'm thinking that this would be a beautiful Artus shawl. I think a few, and Casey had mentioned that Mia from Knit and Grace, Taji from Tangles and Starlight, and Haley from Knit Weekend are planning to knit the shawl as a mini cal. So I kind of asked them if I could crash their party, and hopefully I will make this happen because I'm really excited about the colors. Like, they are so beautiful, and I'm super excited about this. So that is another plan. And the final thing, I was knitting on Baljeet's Dornie, and I realized that I don't have a green pullover. Like, I have a green cardigan, I have a green vest, but I don't have a green pullover. And don't you think that's surprising for someone who talks about green and who has so much green yarn, but like does not have a sweater in it already? So I'm going to have to change that. I have a few ideas in my head. Pattern wise, I think I'm going to stick with a basic raglan because that's what I'm feeling right now. Or maybe do one of those patterns which just has like a cable running down the center, so most of it's stockinette except for the cable down the center. But I'm gonna dig through my stash of green yarns and pick up something nice so I can actually make a green pullover for myself. Yeah, so that is, I guess, my next plan, and I have a lot of whips to go through. I have a lot of blankets to process. I have the shawl plan, which happened this morning, and I completely jumped on it. So my knitting mojo is, it's there. It's massive. It's not just there, it's overbearing. But I'm thoroughly enjoying all the projects that I'm working on, and I'm kind of giving myself a break from any deadlines. So I'm just like, I have self-imposed deadlines, but they always change. That's okay. But I'm completely enjoying the I'm getting ready for the holidays, so I have all these crafty projects planned, and then I have actually another massive sewing project planned, which I'm not going to get into right now because I think this video has already been quite a bit quite long, I mean, and I have quilting projects that I have to finish. So there's a lot happening. I'm all excited. I have a lot of knitting mojo, as you can see, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know I spoke about a lot. I don't even remember where we started from. Oh, we started from this shawl actually. So that's what's been happening with my knitting mojo. Personal life has been the same, more of the same, lot of work, lot of knitting, and we're just going through one day at a time. Like, my work has been quite crazy as always, so does not really leave a lot of room for much else. We're just getting up for the holidays. We get a break between Christmas and New Year's because all our clients are off, so we are kind of forced to take time off, but that's always nice. And I have a lot of movies planned, so after making a list of blankets, I also made a list of movies that I would like to watch during the holidays. Baljeet and I love watching a lot of movies, so that's what we're going to do. And yeah, so that's basically what's been up with me. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for leaving comments. I love reading everything you write. Hope you're enjoying. If you watch Vlogmas, hope you're enjoying those. If you don't watch Vlogmas, that's completely fine as well. But thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate all the lovely messages and all the lovely friendships that I have through this channel. But thank you so much. Stay safe, take care, happy crafting, and until next time, bye.